Self-hate. Self-hate is defined by the Apple Dictionary as intense dislike for one's self. Now that we understand that the slave driver created this problem for our people in order for us to serve them better, there is still yet another reason that this term self-hate applies to us, and that is that we have totally disregarded our own health and safety to accomplish the white man's idea of beauty.
Now, what's it feel like, the chemical burn? Can you explain it?
Just like, like you're on fire, literally. My hair was just burning. The sensation was just horrible. Immediately, I just began to cry. It was horrible.
Relaxer, also known by its government name, sodium hydroxide. Could you tell us exactly how dangerous sodium hydroxide is?
Sodium hydroxide will burn through your skin. The chicken is your skin.
Okay, so it'll go from my brown skin down to the white meat.
Right.
Wow. Now, you realize this goes in people's heads, right?
Sodium hydroxide?
Yeah, people, black people, black women, some men, Morris Day, Prince, put sodium hydroxide in their hair to straighten it out.
Why would they do that? Probably what the sodium hydroxide is doing is actually breaking down the protein in their hair. If it gets down into the scalp, it'll kill it at the root, and you'll actually have bald spots there.
So if you're a beautician or something, and you deal in sodium hydroxide all day,
I wouldn't do it. If you breathe just the fumes from sodium hydroxide, those fumes will ruin your lungs. They'll damage your lungs permanently. Now, this is an aluminum soft drink can, and it's been in sodium hydroxide for just over an hour. Another aluminum soft drink can that's been in for about 3 hours, and then this one has been in for about 4 hours. It has disintegrated.
So that can's got a good perm.
That can's got a good perm.
You think it's your second perm, huh?
No.
How many have you got?
I had a texturizer and some of my hair fell out and my mama started giving me some kitty perms.
And mothers that are starting to give their little girls perms, and they're not even 2 years old yet. They're calling regarding consultation on, Dr. Macklin, what do you think that I should do? My daughter is 1.5, and it's tough for me to comb her hair. I'd really like to put a perm in. What do you think? Under a certain age, the child is still growing, the scalp is still maturing, the follicles are still maturing. And if you're putting this chemical on too early, you're damaging your child's follicles almost for life.
A couple of other significant areas which we want to discuss in great detail are this explosion of artificial hair, these chemical imitations of hair which are being weaved into the scalps of many of the women in society. It's become very popular here, but it's very dangerous because, again, these two are very much chemically based. These chemicals, of course, when they become hot, are able to penetrate the scalp and then the bloodstream and be circulated throughout the body as well.
Dr. Larry Shapiro says while hair loss is common for all women who constantly manipulate their hair with the use of extensions or chemicals, it is more common amongst African American women, and the damage done is hard to reverse.
It's going to pull your hair out.
It's a message Dr. Larry Shapiro says he's been trying to put out there for years.
Extensions will cause a lot of weight. They pull the hair. We see a lot of hair loss with extensions.
Dr. Shapiro has been doing hair transplants for more than 20 years and says frequently wearing extensions can eventually cause a condition called traction alopecia. That's where the hairline is eventually pushed back and can ultimately disappear. Though they're common with women of all races, extensions are most popular with black women along with hair relaxers.
Like 7-8 months.
Stay-at-home mom Peta Gay Watson says she has relaxed her hair for over 10 years, but says she has never experienced the healthy long hair she has strived for.
I had immense, tremendous breakage, especially on top here. And this happens to me every 2 to 3 years.
Dr. Shapiro says while aging does contribute to hair loss, relaxers speed up the process for black women.
Relaxers are terrible for the hair. They'll burn out the roots. I've seen it happen all the time. And
over a period of time.
Over a period of time.
Yahweh told Isaiah about what would happen to our women in the last days because of their useless vanity. In Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16 through 26. And it reads, Moreover, Yahweh saith, Because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling of their feet. Therefore the Master will smite with a scab the crown of the heads of the daughters of Zion. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet there shall be stink, and instead of well-set hair, baldness, and burning instead of beauty.
As soon as it starts to burn, you gotta get to the sink immediately, or else you lose your hair.
How could we hate something so beautiful? How could they get us to believe straight dead hair is better than our rich curly hair? Our forefathers were proud of their hair. Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 11, says, His head is as the most fine gold, referring to its richness, and his locks are bushy and black as a raven. Bushy and black. Daniel 7:9 says, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. Now wool is sheep's hair. Sheep's hair is curly and thick. That means, according to Daniel, Yahweh's hair and our hair texture is the same. Shouldn't we want to look the way the Creator intended? Let us look at another way self-hate is expressed among our nation.
Brown skin. I know for everybody so bleaching, you fit up it from you do that to your skin, that means that you don't love yourself.
We hated the color of our skin, hated the blood of Africa that was in our veins, and in hating our features and our skin, our color became to us a chain. We felt that it was holding us back. Our color became to us like a prison, which we felt was keeping us confined, not letting us go this way or that way.
Jeremiah 30, verse 6 reads, Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness.
A whiter shade of pale. That's what Jihan and millions of other African women are seeking. From pharmacies in Egypt to shops in Abidjan, skin whiteners are a booming business. And their appeal is just as strong among women of color in France.
When you don't feel that you match the ideals of beauty, it gets to you psychologically. You want to be in style like everyone else.
While many whiteners can be found legally on pharmacy shelves here, lightening creams promising radical results can be hazardous to the health. They often contain steroids or dangerous chemicals and cause severe infections, hypertension, and diabetes.
There is no product or series of products or a mixture of products that can radically whiten the skin without complications, both in terms of general health and aesthetically. So if a product makes you a lot whiter, then it is very dangerous.
The goal is to inform people of colour so they will not be tempted to radically lighten their skin because it's extremely dangerous.
Have you used hydroquinone stuff? Yes. For a long period of time? Yes, for years now. I've been using bleaching creams from an early age. Back in Jamaica, I started using a product called Deluxe Nadinola, using Ambi bleaching cream. I mean, I don't know what the chemicals are inside of them, but it just says to bleach. And it did work. You know, and I realized when I noticed these spots come on was when I was in the Cayman Islands. I don't know if it's a change of environment, whatever, but I noticed it then. We see a lot of pigmentation. As it is now, there has been a very deep damage to the skin tissues. We cannot really say how deep.
Skin bleaching creams are used by women to lighten their skin. Especially popular are those containing a chemical called hydroquinone, and others containing steroids, even mercury. But without the users realizing it, the creams can effectively be burning off the top layer of skin. This typically leads to patches of dark pigmentation and eventually disfigurement, even cancer.
Once it goes into the bloodstream, it will then travel into the liver and kidneys and could cause liver and kidney damage. Apart from initially, it could contribute to skin cancer. The reason one might get skin cancer is because we are actually destroying the melanin, which is there to give us the protection from the UV light, i.e. Protect us from getting skin cancer.
They watch films and they see that black people are lighter. They don't show them black, they lighten them. So everybody wants to be like someone they see in the film shows.
The creams can legally be manufactured in Europe as long as they're exported elsewhere.
They may be exported directly to African states or America.
Another way self-hate has affected us as a people is in the way we dress. Our people have lost their pride and modesty in their outward appearance. During slavery, our women were constantly raped and our men were forced to breed with strange slaves from other plantations. This in turn created an atmosphere where we believed our sole purpose was to work and have sex. The result of this has led to a culture with overinflated sexual value which directly affects our choice of clothes. Proverbs 31 discusses the character of a virtuous woman. In verse 22 it says, "She maketh herself coverings of tapestry." Covering is defined as something such as cloth used to put on or in front of something to protect it or to conceal it. Our clothes nowadays have far strayed from being coverings. Now it may seem like all of these issues are female issues, but the men of our society have greatly influenced the decision of our women. If we desire traits that depict self-hate, then our women will have to succumb to these pressures. We have to stop trying to look like our captors and trying to attain their characteristics. These are the people who hate us. They kidnapped us, raped us, whipped us, and hung us from trees. They're not trying to look like us, so why are we trying so hard to look like them? We have to rid ourselves of this mental slavery. From the wise words of Bob Marley.
Emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.
Yahweh loves the way we look naturally, because He fashioned us. He made us. We are His invention. He loves our skin, hair, noses, and lips. He made them perfectly. It was not a mistake. It is time for us to love His creation. It is time to save our health, our time, and our money, and reclaim the pride in our beauty that the enemy stole. It is time for us to come together as a nation and love ourselves. Deuteronomy 7, verse 6. For thou art a set-apart people unto Yahweh thy God. Yahweh thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So I point these things out, brothers and sisters, so that you and I will know the importance in 1965 of being in complete unity with each other, harmony with each other, and not letting the man maneuver us into fighting one another. I don't think that we should run around trying to love somebody who doesn't love us. Thank you.
The system set it, you know. For if them don't have you fighting against yourself, them go have trouble. For if them see you unite within yourself, them know so for them all get slacker. But when them can't get you struggling among yourself, them all is tighter. And that is all them set it.